wanna do a podcast? We make a darn good team. It always goes without a hitch. Let's head to Twitch and go start up the stream. Do you wanna do a podcast? It's the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Let's start now. Hi everyone and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Come?
Alright, I'll do my own bits myself.
Oh wait, no silence.
We're doing it. Get off the road.
Hey Dave,
Hey, Boater.
why didn't Starscream pick up his phone when Megatron called?
Because it's Megatron and you ghost that bitch.
If you're Starscream, that's not a good idea. He would have, but his phone was in airplane mode.
I get that one. That's an old people reference. I understand that one for once.
It's an old nerd reference.
Starscream is an airplane who gets kicked in the tuchus a lot.
It's an older reference, sir, but it checks out. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. I'm Boater,
I'm Dave Mann.
and we're gonna be old nerd funny all night, or not? I don't know. We're gonna.
If
think
it's funny
we are.
to you, great. If it's funny
Yeah.
to us, it will be.
Yeah. We're gonna do what amuses us, and then we're happy when you're along for the ride. So we've got a lot of things to be along for the ride on. Pretty shortly, we're gonna get to talking about the St. Jude Play Live season, which is not over, but is very close to over. We're gonna talk about these final moments, how that's going for the Caladrius fundraising team. We've got some NFT stuff. We've got some stuff with business acquisitions. But as ever, we're gonna start talking about Twitch bans. And we don't have a specific ban this week. Instead, we've got some.
Oh, really?
We've got some updates from Twitch talking about the banning experience. More or less trying to be more transparent. And I think you wrote down more details than I had about this, but I'll kick things off by saying that they made, I believe, a community blog post last Wednesday where they were talking about how they want to make the process more transparent. Up to and maybe even including, if they can work it out, including clips of the bannable moments that they would send along with the, instead of just saying, you've been banned for dress code violation or whatever, they would send a clip and be like, right here, you know what you did. And I think like there's some tech stuff standing in the way of like being able to do that in a way that like respects privacy and isn't like, because right now their clips are like public of people to see. They want to do it in a way that's private. And also they're probably dragging their heels and stalling for time. So,
Well, rolling out a new implementation, things like that does take time. And if they're going to change something that doesn't fully work but functions, you don't want to. You don't
want to break it. I do see that.
Yeah. I know that the Twitch VP of Trust and Safety, Angela Hessian, was speaking to the Washington Post about this.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, it came out in Washington Post, not like a public.
And had said that exactly what you had stated. They just want to make sure that they're not sending someone. The reason you were banned was specifically, I think it was not that one of the streamers got banned for, and I quote, licking microphone with like, and then a certain piece of clothing they were wearing.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's what? Like, that doesn't make any sense. You can't.
Yeah.
And so they want to fix that. They did go on to hem and caw about their recent system for fighting those and how that has been successful. Although they did say out of every 10, only one of them is a viable fire on the system, and the rest of them are people going, oh.
Yeah. So it's if 10. Like what you're saying is like 90% of the times that they send out one of these, it's like, ooh, you're right, that's my bad, and 10% are like, oh, that was not that shouldn't have been a bannable offense.
Indeed. 1 in 10.
1 in 10 is simultaneously not as bad as it could be, and also not great. Like 1 out of 100 is what I would hope for, which is still, would suck to be the 1 out of 100, but
I wish Twitch would release the stats of like how many average people are banned in a day to
yeah.
understand that of like, and how many of them are people that are affiliate and partner level as opposed to like people that created a Twitch account 2 days ago and got banned because they were
decided
showing
to use
whatever.
it to stream Death Note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you're those legends that streamed the Jake Paul fights on YouTube on Twitch. Just love you. Please continue to do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Wink.
We should never, ever
take Jake Paul's money away.
Yeah, so that's what I got for Twitch ban. Not a specific ban, but some news around that. That came out in the last 7 days. Dave, what do we have in the next 7 days looking forward?
In the next 7 days, there's some art, there's some indies, and there's a game that made you ask, you have a cell phone, don't you? So tomorrow...
I have news about that one.
If you're a fan of... well, basically, if you're a fan of the game Limbo, presented in Nerdivision, it's coming out for the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 5, the Xbox One, the Xbox Series X, and Epic Games, GOG, and Steam, and the Nintendo Switch. It's Silt, a underwater style Limbo game where you're exploring this underwater universe. If you've ever watched Jinsekai being played, it reminds me a tonnage of that because you use the underwater creatures around to assist you in solving problems and puzzles, and at the same point exploring this underwater world.
Gotcha.
Greatly looking forward to this one. I'm a fan of underwater. That's my meta, and so this will be something that I love. I love that like dystopian lone diver exploring things sort of thing.
So basically, Limbo X Subnautica.
Yeah.
Nice.
I know what you're thinking. I don't really like to swim. I don't really want to go in the depth. I don't wear a helmet very well, but I do like playing cards. Well, do you like
exactly
18th century France? Yes, you do. Do you like potentially stealing and cheating lords, countesses, barons, and other gunslingers out of their money?
I mean, that sounds actually pretty awesome.
Yes. This game from our friends at Devolver Digital, who have taken the piss out of quite a few good companies lately, are releasing this game on the 2nd for Steam and the Nintendo Switch. It's not going to be the most detailed game on the planet. It is not going to be your World Series of Poker caliber game, but it is a game that emphasizes that you are a character cheating at a poker game, and you try to win, and in through playing and things like that, you learn about local officials, politicals, things like that, and you gain curry favor to create your status and gain more in your life.
I like that.
It looks like a blast, and I also like later in the trailer it shows that if you are caught cheating, if you do it badly, or if it goes wrong, if someone's aware that you may be cheating and things like that, there is dueling, sword and gunplay, a la the 18th century in it.
So one of the RPGs that that a friend of mine runs, when it's our birthday, we get to ask for something to happen in the game.
Yeah,
and I just finishing a couple of books. I'd been like court intrigue, and this is like that kind of court intrigue thing, using the card gaming as a vehicle for that. I really like that.
I don't know what you're thinking. I have a phone, and what can I game on that with? Well, Blizzard sarcastically had you handled years ago at BlizzCon, and yet they deliver in this... What's going on, King X-Yug? Sorry, I'm not good with...
I'm going to say King Shug, unless told otherwise. How you doing? How you doing, King?
When you press the button on Diablo Immortal, the little button turns into everyone has phone. Fantastic, Steve. Just some of the best little metas. This game coming out for Battle.net on the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, which means it could potentially be played on your Stadia.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
I have some news about this one, actually. I don't know if you heard some news about its release.
No.
So people have been able to actually preload it for the last couple days, getting ready for its Friday release. But Blizzard announced today that it is not going to release in Belgium and in the Netherlands because it has loot boxes, such that run afoul of laws in those countries. Because after EA pulled all of its stunts, we'll say, late last decade, those are a couple countries that took a hard line against gambling mechanics in video games. So there are people that paid for the game and even were able to preload it onto their machines, only to be told, actually, we're not selling it in your jurisdiction. Instead of Blizzard saying maybe we shouldn't do loot boxes, they're like, maybe you should get some laws changed so you can play our game.
What a very, very good historical thing for us to laugh at in 2 minutes, in 30 seconds, and in 10 years. This game...
Don't do loot boxes. Oh, it's a mobile game. That's how it makes it... No. Other games have changed away from loot boxes. Come on, Blizzard, be better. You know what? Come on, Blizzard, be better.
What else can I help you with?
Come on, Blizzard, be better.
You did hear that they're doing a vote to keep the current board in place, right?
Of course they are.
The annual renewing of seats and things like that. I'm just saying, if you own Blizzard shares, Activision Blizzard shares,
first off, I'm sorry for your loss. Second off, use those to be able to make some votes.
Have a look at your company. Have a look at the board. See what you think.
Yep.
For those of you who haven't heard about Diablo Immortal, who haven't seen anything about it, historically it's going to take place between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. It is a free-to-play MMORPG. The one defense that I will give this game, and the one, is the one mechanic that I don't like about other mobile games, but I really like this one, doesn't have. There's going to be no energy system.
Oh.
So if you want to do a dungeon raid and then you want to do some other tasks, it does not seem like there will be gameplay mechanics standing directly in your way, save for level requirements and things of that nature. So if you choose to play this game for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or 14 hours, that's on you. They did also do the bog standard. It has loot boxes, but they don't affect the gameplay. It's just cosmetic and other potential things like that.
Still
Could be good.
Yeah.
There's still loot boxes, and it's sad that the gaming industry has moved on to bigger and stupider things to shove down our throats and make loot boxes by comparison seem...
Do not get nostalgic for loot boxes.
Oh, I'm not.
Good.
However, it's bad that games having loot boxes are one of the lower on the checklist of, is it associated with NFTs? Does it have this? Does it do that?
Well, that's what happens with the Overton window, Dave. Don't let it happen.
So yeah, that's going to be Diablo Immortal coming out on the 2nd.
Cool.
If you're a fan of same, have a look at it. And that's the 3 games coming out in the next 7
King
days.
says, I'm doing great. What about you guys? We're doing awesome. I'm not going to talk much. I'd love to hear you guys talking about stuff like this. Absolutely. We love, even if you're just hanging out in chat and lurking, even if you're not saying anything, thank you so much. We love that you're here and enjoying what we do. Speaking of what we do, Dave, what have you been doing the last week? What are you watching? What are you playing?
So, was really stoked with how Play Live panned out.
Yep.
Was really, really, really incredibly ungodly fortunate for the last weekend Wednesday where League at Reaper offered the donation match stream, and then everyone, yourself included, and your family, and thank you for that, helped propel me to that number that's right in front of Boder.
$1,222 raised. Good sir, on your St. Jude campaign.
It was awesome. It was a lot of fun this year, and I can't wait because I've already started making plans for next year and for what happened, what I could do differently, what we can do, and one of the things including buying a lot of my friends' mute buttons, just a lot of them.
Okay.
But rejoined the armies in Fortnite. Tried that out with a little coaxing because building's gone, and I'm not gonna lie, without building, it's pretty fun to play.
Nice. Nice. I am going to drop a donation link into chat there, as we mentioned St. Jude. We are going to be talking more about St. Jude shortly, but since we brought it up, I'm going to drop that dono link in there for you. So you played some Fortnite?
Played some Fort Nugget with some folks at their behest, and honestly had a good time. We won 4 games in a row, which was confusing, but it seems like all the sweaties went back to build, and the rest of us were fighting each other.
Wow.
Outside of the streaming and things like that, which has been a great amount of fun, I managed to Claire and I managed to have some time off together, so we went and saw the Bob's Burgers movie.
Nice.
And my God, is it? They definitely did a good job of looking at all the other television sitcoms that have had a movie, Simpsons, Family Guy, Futurama, and they took what what was good and what was bad about them, and they made something that Claire and I left. We were very amused. We had a great time, and I cannot recommend it highly enough.
Nice.
To go spend your time and support Bob and Linda in their struggles of making burgers. Borges. Other than that, going to be getting back into some M and T rated games that I cannot wait for. The Evil Dead will be added to my game library, and so will Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires, which I'm not looking forward to playing.
But I'm looking forward to watching.
What's even worse about that, Boater, is I want a physical copy of it, because if I'm going to have pain, I want to be able to throw something like a case. But unfortunately, no one, and I mean no one, in the Capital District has a physical copy of it. So I have to go out of my way to special order this game that I hate. And I'm looking so much forward to suffer.
It's going to be a good time.
It is. How about you? What have you been watching? What have you been playing?
Let's see. So I did what ended up being a 13-hour stream on Sunday for St. Jude. That went really well, and as part of that, I played the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Yes, that was
which was-
so good.
Which was a lot of fun. Both, it's nice to revisit some of the old content, but then the brand new stuff is folded in really well. I really enjoyed it. I was only bothered that there was like one path that once you do it, there's absolutely no way to go back to it, and there was like another fork in there that I'm like, no, I want to try the other way.
I liked the Stanley Parable Museum,
Yeah, so,
referencing all the original
so the museum was in the original game, but
Was it?
Yeah, so
Huh.
the museum ending was in the original game, but then there's the sequel expo that is part of Ultra Deluxe. So yeah, it's really cool how well tied everything is together. You bring the bucket to the places and see what happens.
So good.
And then for watching, I didn't write anything down because I was like, I don't think I've watched anything new. And then I got here to the set and I said, Obi-Wan, you nincompoop! The Obi-Wan Kenobi series, the first 2 episodes, dropped 3 hours early at 9 p.m. Pacific instead of midnight Pacific, Thursday night. So Steph and I watched both episodes
Nice.
Thursday night starting at midnight Eastern. Brought us to about 1:30, 1:40. And I won't say too much because spoilers, and the series is still coming out and all that, but I enjoyed it. The first episode does a good job of setting up where Obi-Wan is. And towards the end, it starts to get kind of like jumpy and stuff from an editing standpoint, kind of being a little quick with some of the cuts. I think I could tell that there was a scene missing and that they cut another scene in half to cover it or something.
Huh.
But that's opinion, and I don't know if that's based in fact. And then the second episode was really cool. There's a really funny bit where there's a character that tries to sell drugs to Obi-Wan. And he's like, no, I'm here looking for my daughter. And she's like, oh, I was someone's daughter too, huh? And she's played by Ewan McGregor's daughter.
But I have to ask, was it Death Sticks?
No, it was,
Ah!
it was, I think she just said Spice.
Come on!
Yeah, made up something else. Death Sticks would have been kind of funny. He's just like all the time with the Death Sticks. No. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the series so far. Have you guys played Rainbow Six Siege or watched someone else play it? I have not.
I have and do have a very interesting story about that
Okay.
coming up after you finish your. So what you've been playing, what you've been doing?
That's what I had. Other than that, it's just stuff I've been playing for St. Jude. Jedi Fallen Order's going well. Played a bunch more Raft. Went to bed that night after playing Raft, and I'm like, I have more ideas of what I want to do in Raft, and I need to play these as soon as possible to get them out on our thing. But yeah, nothing else really new. I'm gonna get the pen that I threw while you talk about Rainbow Six.
So, if you've played Rainbow Six Siege, like some of us have, you know that, well, it makes Chernobyl look like, well, anywhere else in the world. It's just so toxic that it just eats of itself. And,
By toxic, do you mean the player base?
oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yes. And so we're looking forward to Operation Vector Glare, which is going to be the next season, because they're adding a feature to the game. They had something called reverse friendly fire, where if you fired upon one of your teammates blatantly, the bullets would ricochet off of them and hit you, typically then killing the person.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
a lot of it's, one shot and you're done.
Oh, I'm sorry. That took me 5 seconds to figure out how that would be abused. Is that people jumping into other teammates' line of fire to induce friendly fire and making them kill themselves like that?
No, so that's actually been an effective way of suppressing people. But the way to initiate it is players have to report someone for doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to get shot to Swiss cheese and then report that the person, it was either intentional or unintentional, and then that gets turned on for one round, and then, or typically that round if they're still alive, and then it gets off and they're off to be able to do their behaviors again.
Okay.
This time they're adding it where once you have it turned on, you can have up to or more than 20 matches. But you have to have then, if it gets turned on for you, you have to have 20 consecutive matches where people don't report you for friendly fire.
Okay.
Did you have something to? Okay. Steve was making eye contact and he kind of did one of these.
Steve was watching and kind of did this with his hand to stretch, but it kind of looked like, teacher,
I'm in class.
add.
I'm in classroom mode. It's been a day. But really looking forward to seeing how that affects people queuing up, and if that particular mark turns into something that helps people to be like Street Fighter did something really interesting where if you quit lobbies constantly, you only get put in lobbies with other people that quit. So perpetually nobody finishes games once you get into that cycle. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how that shakes out for the folks over at Rainbow Six Siege. People are excited for it. Streamers are very excited for this addition and change. And I think as long as they're keeping these behaviors in check without then punishing players in such a, as we were talking about before, with Twitch bans, more power to you. Ubisoft doing a good, which is rare. So
No, they're not Rare. It's Ubisoft. Rare is a totally different.
Tis
company.
true. Tis true.
Let's see. They're not adding more NFTs, are they?
Probably didn't want to
dig that far.
I didn't want to type the letters NFT consecutively. It's just become a very bad thing.
Well, some that might get into NFT but are definitely into crypto. There's a new game, a new Ni no Kuni game, which is a well-known. Sorry, King also mentioning that Rainbow Six Siege is also adding cross-platform, which will be a really cool addition. I always love seeing stuff like that. The newest Ni no Kuni game, Crossworlds, just released in North America, although it's been out in Asia since last year. Just released in North America, and everyone who was excited for the game and the legacy of it that it's had with JRPGs, having a Studio Ghibli kind of look, whatever.
Yeah.
Very disappointed to find out that it is more full of crypto than Swiss cheese is full of holes. It is the very worst of play to earn, of using tokens that you buy from the company to use in game to earn other tokens that can be swapped out for other cryptocurrencies, and just
That's awful.
no.
because Ni no Kuni and the White Witch was an amazing game. I actually purchased it for Claire on our PS3 that we had, and although she didn't play much of it, she did really enjoy of what she did play, and it's really sad to hear that you waited for it to get imported, and now it's just
to find out that it's that. And it's so tied into the game. It's not like a Diablo Immortal where they can maybe take out loot boxes. This is so tied into the structure of the game that this is what it is, and I'm sure that it will get absolutely zero traction. Any interest that it does get will be turned off by the rampant crypto, and then as the crypto markets continue to bomb, everything in it will be absolutely worthless, and there will be no redeeming gameplay left. Like, it's a gacha game, so if you're into that, then like maybe that will be able to stand on its own eventually, but I don't think the developers are really going to put that effort in.
So we are saying though that this game could potentially introduce crypto bros to NFT to JRPGs, which would
I don't
be
think they're ready.
hilarious.
I don't think they're ready.
They're not ready, and they're going to be real freaked out. But they are going to have their credit cards out. So we screaming, "Take my money and stop spiking your hair!"
It's their credit cards wither in their hands.
Oh God, I'm giving money to the nerds.
All right, Dave. What do you got? What do you got for some news? Do we have anything to make us happy after all this?
Well, I've got something that plays into your strengths, that plays into my strengths, and it is that recently a novel was released on specifically
I like reading.
May the 10th. The Star Wars novel, Star Wars Brotherhood by Mike Chen came out.
Okay.
And so the author began discussing the novel and put out an offer to curious about Easter eggs in Star Wars Brotherhood, then help me get the word out on another book that he had worked on. And for every retweet, I'll post a Brotherhood factoid in this thread.
Okay.
And so it included a little Easter egg because this book is canon or in the arcs of canon currently.
Yep.
As of press time, where his sixth one tweeted the author, "There's a reference to a sport called blitzball played in a local lake."
Oh my God.
Blitzball is basically underwater hockey played in a minigame in Final Fantasy X. As a former NHL writer, I freaking loved blitzball and spent hours winning leagues. And as somebody who also spent hours playing blitzball in Final Fantasy X, I am jazzed as hell that we will be getting a blitzball Star Wars game. The Kenobis, perhaps the Hello There's. Maybe we'll have the Republic. Perhaps the droids will somehow. I mean, they're gonna die because they weren't. A lot of them weren't underwater. I know there were probably underwater droids, were there not?
Yeah. But
Were there amphibious droids?
Well, there's gonna be like teams are gonna be more like the Bespin bombers or stuff like that. You know.
I want it and I love it. And then some other references like where was number 8? If you need a visual for the Korgi beasts, Korgee, of Kato Nim. You know how to read those words.
Catatomoida.
My late Corgi Lola was the best dog ever. Also, corgis shed fur constantly. Yes, I made giant space corgis. Lola also co-stars in my upcoming wholesome punk vampire novel.
This is how you market a book. This is how you market a book. Tell us about all the stuff that isn't what the book is about that's still going to make us want to get the book.
Also referenced the fact that number 12, he talked about a blink and you miss it cameo from Jedi Fallen Orders, Jero Tapal?
Okay.
The red-haired youngling. Yes, that's Cal. He made a Star Wars, Star Trek references are rampant between the two, but he made a reference to the Ferengi in the novelization, and just so many others. And I live for this. In fact, I'm going to put this in chat.
Cool.
Dear Twitter, there's the button I press. to retweet
Dave
it.
doesn't know how to use the social medias.
No, I don't. I go on Twitch, and if you're not on Twitch, I don't see you. Sorry. I like a Twitch consistent. In the things that
Twitch
I like.
consistent, he
Yes.
say.
Indeed. Because I don't watch all these big named hoopla doucheholes who get
Language.
bans.
Can't
Oh, I'll
say that,
say what I
David.
want.
We're still raising money for St. Jude.
So, that was a really fun little thing, but you
Yeah.
can definitely check out Mike Chen's tweets. Follow him
I'm
on
trying
Twitter.
to think what else
I
I've
do now.
seen that he's written. I mean, obviously, if I look at his Goodreads, I'm gonna be like, oh, I recognize that book and that book. I worked as a bookseller for 2 years. I recognize the name Mike Chen. I did actually see something else that was kind of fun on Twitter, and that was that Elon Musk tweeted a meme, and then Hard Drive, which is a satirical video game news site,
Mhm.
was like, very cool of you to tweet our image and headline while crapping out our name. And then there was Elon defending how he uses memes, and Hard Drive being like, oh, you're right, sorry, maybe that wasn't funny. How about this one? And they just kept posting all the articles that they've done that just burn Elon Musk. And it was very, very funny to see Elon get ratioed on Twitter. It was an amusing thread. Books by Mike Chen. We could be. We could be heroes. I got that from Book of the Month like a year ago, and I haven't read it yet. So okay, yeah, that's where I recognize it from. Cool. So yesterday, if I say the developer's name, SCS Software, do you know who that is? They're
No.
the developers of Euro Truck Sim 2, American Truck Simulator,
Okay.
like those. And last year they had announced DLC for Euro Truck Simulator called Heart of Russia.
Makes sense.
Yeah, because they've been doing a good job. They start in Central Europe, they've gone down into Italy, they've hit France. I think they've gotten to Iberia. I don't know. I haven't checked in on Truck Sim stuff a whole lot recently. They went north, they went west, and then they're like Russia is next. This past in February, they were 6 to 8 weeks from being able to ship it, and then Russia invaded Ukraine, and they kind of stopped work on that. They said, probably in a few weeks we might be able to pick this back up and try to get back on track. In the meantime, they made a Ukrainian paint job DLC where all the proceeds went to charities helping out Ukraine.
Yes.
Over 85,000 people downloaded those Ukrainian flag skin packs. And then they were kind of returning to work on Heart of Russia, but they ended up having the discussion of we want to be apolitical. We want to have a place where people from all over can just play the games and have this, unifying experience. But at the same time, by coming out with DLC that celebrates Russia while Russia is invading somewhere else, they felt that they would have been endorsing Russia's aggression. And so they announced that they are not releasing it. They did not say it's entirely canceled. They definitely didn't say we threw away all the work that we did on it.
God, I hope not.
They did say when the time comes for Ukraine to rebuild and heal, then we will endeavor to find a way for our Heart of Russia DLC to play whatever part it can in that healing process for everyone. So it is on indefinite hold, and may release sometime in the future when Russia is not being a villain on the world stage.
It's really depressing knowing that how much work goes into the truck sim and the train sim and
And if they announced it last summer, which means that they already had a fair amount of work before they even announced it, so that they could show some stuff to tease it, easily a year of work down the drain. And it makes me respect that decision more when they say, here is a year of work that we paid our developers for, that we aren't going to get paid for anytime soon. But it's the right thing for us to do to not release this right now.
Amazing choice. An excellent decision because it also will potentially brew up some negative feelings and imagery, and people probably don't want them using their game to do that.
Yeah, I can see that. I really need to get back into Truck Simulator. I really do.
I mean, I enjoy when you play it.
It's been a long time. I would need to start a fresh profile because a mod that I made crashes the game as soon as I start it. Ever since some updates later on.
Ugh.
It's a custom trailer that I made that is equipped. So as soon as I start the game and it loads in the profile, what's equipped? And it kills it. So I just need to like start a fresh profile.
Let's
Start
see
from
here.
square
What
one.
do you got
And
there?
starting from square one in that game has me a little intimidated. But at this point, there's more DLC for it. Whatever. I don't know. Everyone should yell at not yell at. Everyone should convince Dan to get me an American Truck Sim stream on the on the channel.
So, Boater, a lot of players have been enjoying Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt, another battle royale. This one in the
Nice.
style of, actually, if you've liked the Blade movies, you'll like this franchise.
That's a good way
It's of
to
the
put it,
same
okay.
style, magic to do with vampires, and gunplay. It came out in April for
Urban fantasy. Yeah.
Windows and the PlayStation 5.
I would say dark urban fantasy if I needed to give it a genre label. So, okay.
And our good friends at Shark Mob had to all but shut down the PS5 comp until they balance controller support because it is absolutely a one-sided match if you play cross-platform, and they don't want people to unselect cross-platform, partially because you're greatly cutting down on the player base, and then just from the clips that I've seen of it, things like that, it's not good. There's fortunately,
Yeah, Vampire the Masquerade was originally a tabletop RPG,
yes,
but has had a few video games out over the years.
recently there's been a lot of expansions to it and things like that, and it's growing its own brand into a lot of different things. And so far, this is like the biggest like oopsies that they've made
Yeah,
so far.
I mean,
So
like we always see issues with cross-platform when it's between someone on a gamepad and someone on mouse and keyboard. What makes this so different?
the fact that typically in your Call of Duties and things like that, if you are playing on PC or if you're playing on console and you play against PC, there's a certain amount of auto aim that just occurs to help snap that quicker towards the enemy. This game has not a shred of that to assist controller players to get faster towards the enemy, and it's just creating these one-sided butt-kicking contests. Between that and the fact that apparently there's some input lag on the controller itself, there's some other things going on where it's just absolutely unplayable against PC. Against other PS5 players, you're totally fine because they are suffering from the same
Yeah, it's a
weighted
level playing
controls.
field. Yeah.
They will, however, they will be bringing it back within the month with a patch. They do have a lot of those issues resolved and things like that, and we're looking greatly forward. Hanksy, thank you so much for the follow. So in that regard, small story, short goings-ons, could be a great game, and it could be getting better.
Let's see. I'll go with this. This is the last one that I've brought to the table. This is kind of a feel-good one. So there is a tradition in real-life spaceflight of bringing dolls into orbit. Supposedly as a zero-G indicator of like, oh, look, it's floating up from the sea and whatever. The first successful cosmonaut, Yuri Gagarin, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. Okay. He brought a small doll with him when he was the first man in space in 1961. The first teddy bear to reach space, named Magellan T. Bear, reached orbit in 1995, and so on. And so May 20th, and I do apologize for the story being a week late, May 20th, Boeing's OFT-2 Starliner mission made its first dock with the International Space Station. Boeing has had a really hard time compared to SpaceX, and I think even Blue Origin probably has been kind of beating it in some of the stuff it's been trying to do. Boeing has had some issues. OFT-1 got to space. It had Snoopy in it, but it didn't make it to the space station. So OFT-2 got to the International Space Station, and inside, alongside a humanoid test dummy, was a plushie of Jebediah Kerman, one of the mascots of Kerbal Space Program.
Oh! What a great usage of your referencing. Yes.
Right?
Yes!
Like, okay, so first off, like a Boeing spokesperson said to Collect Space that it was a celebration of how the game gets people into STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, of how it gets people into those professions and how it can teach stuff like that. But everyone in the industry also was kind of like, hey, you know how hard it is to play Kerbal Space Program? How many times things blow up and things go wrong and you're not going to space today kind of things? It's a really good kind of mini mascot for a Boeing Starliner mission because they've had issues.
I was really worried you were going to say it was going to be a minion. Uh,
Nope. Nope, it's a Kerbal.
I will say when we watched the most recent SpaceX launch, they also had a Snoopy, and I just remember watching some of my students who are not as aware of what they're watching and words kind of go over their head and this that, and the other, but they saw Snoopy and they were
And that's
so
something
excited.
to latch onto.
And they were
Yeah,
like,
it's something
Snoopy
to
in
ground
space, and it was so good to like see that. It also kind of helped that they were just kind of whipping him around the cabin.
Yeah,
at one
because
point.
well, because like I could see that being like kind of hard to grasp in an abstract, but when you have something that is so grounded in their everyday experience of Snoopy, yeah.
That's such good news. The
So
Kerbal Space Program finally launched, even though so many of us will never launch anything in that game.
so Jeb stayed on the space station for a few days, hung out with the crew. Bunch of people were taking, photos. People were tweeting from space pictures, selfies with Jeb, and then he was put back onto the onto the capsule as it made its return flight back to Earth.
That's so good.
So a safe descent and landing for our intrepid explorer as well.
Very glad to. Just what a yes.
It's so perfect.
Yes, it works on so many levels and for so many things. So good. I do want to make sure that we don't run out of time on this story because it was suggested by our producer and everyday savior Steve. We really do want to give a shout out and a thank you to Sega and Team Sonic for waiting for a Tuesday to announce this so that Nerd Glasses could really get into the story and talk about it.
They scooped it.
Exactly. We're looking at a new, something different, something fun, and it is Sonic Frontiers, presented in Nerdivision. But really looking forward to this game because it is finally an open world Sonic game. And from the small amount of visuals that they have shown and things of that nature, it looks like it's gonna work for what they're going for.
That's what they always say.
I know, and I'm gonna err on the side of optimistic, and I know that you're going to err on the side of safely pessimistic, knowing that, money has been spent and many things have gone on. And
that was interesting. It looked like it just climbed a tall neck from Horizon Zero Dawn. It looked like Sonic was on top of a tall neck.
I mean, they're cross-branding everywhere, and everything.
Yeah, why not? It's fine.
But so they took to it to announce, to show a little bit of gameplay in a trailer today, and the game is going to come out sometime in 2022. There are a couple leaks online saying November 2022. Some going so far as to say November 15th, 2022, which lets me know that there may not be as much credence levied to it. But
Sonic Breath of
you
the
know
Hedgehog.
what? A Sonic that doesn't look like the one from the original trailers of the movie, and just doesn't seem like it's from fan fiction. I'm in. I'm in until I'm out.
Speaking of, let's not get too far before talking about it. St. Jude Play Live isn't over, but we didn't really go in depth as to how the season has gone.
Well, yeah.
It's been a really good season. I know we've been talking St. Jude Play Live as it goes every week here, but when I started out streaming Sunday morning, our team was at about $3,500.
Yes.
I myself, I just got a donation, so I started my stream at 1,000. At the end of my stream, I'd gotten to 1,500, and the team was at
Yes.
4,004.
Hell yeah.
And now here we are, Tuesday evening. We're at $4,667 for the team, and everyone is doing so great. I'm just really thrilled with how it's going this year. We haven't raised as much as last year, but oddly, I think that Play Live in general has raised less than last year as well.
$2,333,364 as of press time.
Yeah,
Let me
they got
refresh
to
it really quick to
4
see. Yeah.
million last year, so I don't really know how they're doing. I know that I know our team is doing really well, and we had, I know that you were on the other side of the country for a week and a half, and you're still crushing it. I know Rafe Wolf moved house, like literally moved into a house, so that took her out of commission for most of the month. And yeah, we're still doing really well.
It it goes into that old adage of if you want to do it, do it.
Yeah.
Plan the things, do the things. I'm really proud of the team for being live on Twitch,
Mm-hmm.
for not just being in lobbies, for not just talking about doing the streams, for streaming and doing it, for sticking through the times that were scheduled. Everyone who used the Tiltify scheduling things to let them know, because that's where St. Jude's gets your information to advertise, hey, these people are going to be live from this time to this time. No one
Yeah.
on our team has a following to rationalize one of those, but one day we
Mm-hmm.
will, and that'll be amazing. So awesome to see people going out and doing it and being social on Twitch, for going out for putting in the time to be live for Play Live. And Boder, bravo on that masterful 14 hours
Thank you.
in flexing between games. When some games weren't working, you moved quickly into another one for
Yeah, it's like, we're
capturing on
gonna play
momentum.
Firewatch. Oh no, this is an M-rated game. This has language. This has themes. Okay, we're going straight to Stanley Parable, which then had a Firewatch reference in it. So see, we played Firewatch.
Exactly. I know Steve and I had a lot of fun watching the stream here at Insane
cool.
Games TV. It's just, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not having fun with it, it may not be for you. But if you are enjoying it genuinely, like so many of our folks were, it's amazing to get to see. Because even a dollar raised, even not, it's all to fight cancer. There's
Mhm.
literally no loss there.
Yeah. It's
Just gonna real quick check on chat. Okay.
Yep, no, we're still good. Yeah, just everyone's done a great job. I've had a really fun time this whole season. There hasn't been a moment where I was like, I'm regretting this, or this isn't worth it. And sometimes when I do the long streams, I've done 12-hour streams, I make a mistake and I play a game that gets me in a really bad headspace somewhere, and then I have to slog through the rest of the stream. That didn't happen during Sunday's stream. That hasn't happened this season. Sometimes it happens where it's like, oh, I really don't feel like hopping on stream and putting my public face on. And you know what? If that happens, that's fine. I know, because I know that for various reasons there's been times when, even if there's not an extenuating circumstance like being across the country or whatever, there's people that have been like, I I haven't been in a good place mentally to stream.
Yeah.
It is. It's putting on a face. It's putting on a performance, and we've talked about that kind of thing on here before. But I know for me, I've been able to the whole time, so I'm happy with myself and where my mental health has been at to be able to do that all month.
Yes.
I'm definitely gonna take just a week off before I start my YouTube uploads again. But um, there was the moment I don't think I mentioned it here, but a previous raft stream, not this past week, but the one before, where something went really wrong, and I did what I do when confronted with adversity, which is that I panic, I freak out, and then I work out a solution. And that's what happened live on stream for the world to see. I swore and made a donation, a swear jar donation. Yeah, it's been a really good season, and I think probably about the time that the middle of July rolls around, we'll be like, all right, what are we doing next year?
Yeah, I've already got 3 notebooks of ideas and things going. And I know some folks have already reached out to help with things in the future.
Hmm.
And if you plan on getting married in the month of May, don't invite me and Claire. This has now been 3 years consecutively. We're not going.
Nope. Nope.
We're not going. Um,
See a justice of the peace or something, and then have the party in June.
I'm also really proud of the folks that didn't let because I know in previous years when we're streaming and things like that and someone's donation bar blows up, whoever be it whoever on our team, because there's a lot of folks on our team that do have a following and do get a large amount of donations
Yep.
in one stream and things like that. But I'm really proud that this year especially people didn't let the numbers complicate what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to want to, as you've heard over the streams and things like that, I want to fundraise. I'm not here to compete and things like that. And there is competition and aspect and yada
Yeah,
yada.
I like friendly competition so long as it doesn't get negative. And I will say that as much as we were trying to do the a rising tide lifts all boats. We were all trying to push each other
Exactly.
collectively rather than to be like, haha, so and so raised more, or someone feeling really put out that they couldn't raise whatever. I think everyone on our team had a really good grasp of celebrating when others had a blow up on their donation bar.
Yes, without then letting that feel like it cheapened their own experience or
while
made
also
it
still
less
being
than.
proud of what they were able to accomplish on their own streams.
Hell yes.
Yeah, and I talked about this a little bit after our Phasmophobia stream last night with Rafe and with Sam, and that like it's much like anything doing well entertaining out there on the internet. Part of it is luck, but part of it is just being out there and doing the thing so that luck can strike.
Yes.
You know, $192 came in on my Sunday stream from St. Jude Ninjas. 50 people came in, made a bunch of donations, and then yelled scatter, and they were gone.
That's awesome.
Like there's a highlight on my YouTube channel of that as well as some other things from the one stream, Jedi Fallen Order and all that. And that is a 7-minute block from when they show up to when they're gone. It was a very surreal 7 minutes. But that is kind of the luck of, oh well, that happened, but also just the dedication of being there so that luck could find me.
Yes.
And just going back to, I think that everyone has had a really positive look on when they're able to be there in a way that's healthy for themselves, and accepting luck as it comes for themselves and for others. Putting the fun into fundraising.
Exactly.
There goes my plans for next year. Oh, what was that in reference to, Dude Icarus? Getting married in May.
Wait a minute! I was at your wedding! Is there breaking news on the nerd classes to be told?
You're going to be there for the vow renewal and you'll like it!
I mean, I can do the vow renewal after this year, so I mean,
But you're not in
you
May.
got engaged
Not
on
in
the
May.
weekend Wednesday. Why not?
Look, as long as your wedding is on stream and donations can still come in, that's fine.
And also not on the 15th. Claire's birthday has been
Oh my
co-opted.
gosh.
But for the last 4 years, we've had a family or a social obligation, and I feel so bad about that. But again, Boder, I'm really proud specifically because when we first met, I did a lot of Twitch. Boder was YouTube.
Yep.
And Boder had an understanding of Twitch. I don't know dip about YouTube, and I never will. But Boder, this year especially, bravo on all
Thank you.
that you have managed and all that you have put in and done. It was awesome to get to tune into your streams, to get to be a part of some of them, to get to do all this. It was amazing to get to see the Play Life 2022 this year and how just all the things that you did and the successes that you found and the lessons learned through previous years of this works and that doesn't, and all these things. So bravo, sir.
Thank you.
You crushed it and it was amazing to see. It was so cool to be in the movie and know that you were going to be live when I got out and I went home and I looked and I was so stoked. And even our friend Pyacular posted in Discord. He was like, dude, look at this thing that's happening. And it's so, that's the things that gets Play Live for me personally, is the seeing these events that happen, the good for the sake of good and for the sake of fun. Like,
Yeah.
that's what it is. And that's what it's about. And the fact that this team, especially over the years, really has vetted down to people that get that. And it's so cool. Last night when Alec was streaming and got up to his $500 goal, and the fact that just immediately started bawling on the stream because of the emotions of getting that and doing it and being there. It was so cool to see all these different things and how gaming in all of its different forms, be it variety content, be it all these other things, be it, specific games that are played at times, can be turned into these fundraising machines for a cause that's just, it's good.
Yeah.
For once in the universe, it's good. My God. Like, and we can just scream it from the top of like the bell towers and things. But it was just so fun to get to do this. And I was stoked that, and really honored personally, that although I streamed the least amount I have ever streamed in a month of May, even before I was doing my own personal campaign, was still able, thanks to the community and thanks to these wonderful folks donating, to get me to that $1,000 goal and past it. Was flattering beyond measure to know that there are people out there that are willing to get behind these endeavors that we want and do and propel them to these levels, and to get to be these people that people gather around and game with and do these other things. Thank you. For not just myself, for Boater, for everyone on our team, for anyone in St. Jude's Play Live, for anyone that clicks go live, that posts content and things like that. You out there have no idea what it means to people as content creators that you take even a second to go into a chat, to like a video, to share a thing, to comment. It means a lot. It's a showing, it's a sign that your things echo and resonate with other people into the universe. And it's amazing to get to do this every year. And I cannot wait for next year. So many ideas brewing, so many different streams, and so much other stuff. I know Savannah's greatly looking forward to her earned stream that she's getting.
Yep.
My coworkers are looking forward to getting to pie me, which is going to be fun. And I have to figure out how to get the Insane Games TV crew, and I'll let you know about when that is. But a lot of my coworkers at my other job were very much excited because all of one of them looked on social media and were like, "So, over $700 raised, eh?" And I was like, "Yep." Yeah, really uncomfortable that you know what that means.
Yeah, it's whether you've donated or shared or just tuned in and chatted and said hi. If you just tune in and say lurk, it means a lot.
All of it.
Yeah.
But by the way, if you're lurking, mute the tab, not the stream, because then you think you're doing good, and the person watching thinks you're doing good, and Twitch literally has no idea that you're there.
If you mute the stream, Twitch is like, they're not watching. I'm not gonna count it. Mute the tab, and Twitch thinks you're watching, and number's good.
Also, you can watch 3 streamers consecutively even while you are streaming. It's a fun little thing that I have tested because, like, during Friday, I'll be watching other people, and I go on, and you can tell if you're able to watch or not with the fact that if you open the tab and the number goes up by 1, you are not doing it correctly. Just as a heads up, just as an aside, and things of that nature, because it does help everybody. But man, the other really cool thing this year especially was, when this team started, there was, a lot of just streams together, and everyone was doing, this day we're going to do this game, this day we're going to do this game, this game, this game. We now have enough people that everyone's streaming so many different things that just the amount of games when I would look at all these other people, Brunard, Sam the Lion, Rafe Wolf, Pyacular, who I will be checking out, and Akai, who is streaming currently, just so many different games and so many different facets of gaming being shared for this one common goal, which was epic as all get out.
Yeah.
So good. And I absolutely cannot wait to see what it does and what it do next year going forward, to see what happens in the next, let's say, 3 hours.
Yep.
For
Because
Play Live.
it's still live. I don't know if it goes to midnight Pacific or Eastern. We're gonna maybe Central.
Pacific.
Pacific? Oh, cool. So then 6 hours. But yeah, I dropped Dave's donation link into there, so that's live, and then I will be accepting donations on the Citadel, and at the end of the Citadel, I will be drawing names for a gift card for people that have made a $5 donation and chosen that entry as an option. So if you're interested in hearing more about that gift card, stay tuned for the Citadel after this. We're at time. I don't know if you wanted to have one more topic before we close things out.
So I did have 2 short stories, if you don't mind, that came across. One of which will table a particular disrespectful MD because the tournament's already over, but some interesting guidelines for Twitch on it.
Yeah, that one was interesting.
But we are a store that does have a fantasy football league and things like that. But this past week, a player on my favorite baseball team got Will Smith-style open palm slapped in the face during batting practice by another player, Reds outfielder Tommy Pham specifically. He slapped Jock Peterson because apparently over some disrespect in a fantasy football chat. Now, immediately people were interested in that because there's a lot of different things that happen in those chats. But specifically, what was shown was this GIF of 3 superimposed baseball teams, being the San Francisco Giants, the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the San Diego chokers, if you ask me. But as you can see, the muscular folks toss the things in the air, and the Padres person accidentally throws it up and hits themselves. Pham apparently took offense to this as being a former player on the Padres and voiced displeasure on it, and then 7 months later decided to give some open palm justice.
So hold on, this wasn't even posted at all recently? This was
7 months ago! Jock even left the league before the end of that league, and apparently Tommy felt so
ladies and gentlemen,
angry about it.
This guy is amazed at that ability to hold a grudge.
He grudged so hard he earned himself a 3-game suspension, which is super helping the Reds. Super helping them.
I'm saying hi to Sonic over here. Actually, I might be touching Sonic inappropriately.
So, one other thing that came across my desk, which was that music in all of its different forms and things like that. It is a great GIF. I thought it was hilarious. And of things I've seen in fantasy football talk, that's mundane. But I'm going to show the image here. But apparently this past weekend, the band Polyphia was performing at they are a prog rock band, and they were performing at the So What Festival. And unfortunately, the drummer's in-ear monitors, which, let him hear the other musicians and sometimes a metronome if they have things as prog rock does, apparently, just at the beginning of the set, just went out.
Oh boy.
So he had nothing. So his drum tech, which is what you're seeing on Nerd Vision, stood stood for some things and kneeled for some moments for 30 minutes because his in-ear monitors were working, and tapped the drummer's leg to give him the tempo or to let him know if the band had started the song, what tempo they started the band's song at. But 30 minutes! Chris Lent, you legend, saved that set. The kudos to the drummer, by the way, for being able to just pick it up and play the rest of the thing unencumbered. There is video of the song where the in-ear monitors do go out. There is a stumble, but he literally just throws the in-ear monitors out and just keeps on going. Amazing work, fantastic stuff, and it all lends itself to the idea of, folks, in life, and I apologize I'm doing this at the end of nerd classes, because I always do it at the end of the weekend Wednesday, but having these little like lessons and things like that. But folks, no matter how well planned you are, no matter how well practiced you are, no matter what things are going on, something, be it big, be it small, will go wrong. It will not go how you want it. Things like that.
I don't think they gave the drummer the working ones because in-ear monitors getting gunk and stuff like that. It's like, you ever take out an earplug and it's got schmutz all over it, or like earbuds? Yeah, you don't want that for someone else.
The other half is, if you notice on his pack, there's that pack. It's wired into his ear.
Oh, so it's
and
like
things
powered
like that.
through that. It's not just like a little.
It's hardwired under his shirt, and they have 30 minutes for their set festival. You want to take up as much of that time playing music as you possibly can, especially in sets where you're not the headliner.
Anyway.
But a fantastic thought. But again, things will go wrong in life, or things will be wildly successful. Have faith in your own abilities.
Things will not go as you expect them to, for better or for worse.
Know that you have what it takes to, even in the worst of times, pick up that flag and run with it, if you'll excuse the griff ball analogy. But
and like I was saying when we were talking with streaming and whatever, is at least half of it is just being there. Show up and be ready to evolve with whatever happens.
It's awesome. You're beautiful. It's amazing.
Stay tuned, everybody, for the Citadel. Right after this, I'm going to be playing some Force Unleashed. We're going to be doing that for about 2 hours, and then it's going to be the end of my own St. Jude campaigns, where I will be giving away a $50 campaign coins gift card to anyone that has chosen that as a option to. I will be randomizing, and by that I mean I have my RPG dice around the corner. I will count up how many people have signed up for a raffle entry for the gift card. I will be rolling the die and awarding that at the end of the stream. So make sure that you show up for that. And if you're interested in hearing more about what campaign coins even is, show up to the stream, because there is still time to make donations. In the meantime, folks, thank you all so much for watching the Nerd Glasses podcast. We've had a great time here tonight. Next week, we'll see if there's, we'll mention if there's any big new developments in these last few hours of St. Jude, and we'll have plenty more gaming news, 7:45 Eastern, right here on Insane Games TV. In the meantime, I've been Boater.
I've been Dave Mann.
And we will see you next time. Bye, everybody!